we got Anthony Giannotti that's on here with us today. He's the owner of many local shops from Butch and Screw, Anthony's, Take Care Barbershop, and he's also the product owner of Victory Crown Barber Company, which is doing very well. Anthony, at this time, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, let people know who you are, what it is that you do, and why you do it, and the history of who you are.
I'm Anthony the Barber 916 on social media. I own Butch and Screwball Barbers. I own Take Care Barbershop, Anthony's Barbershop, and Victory Crown Barber Company. I've been a barber for almost 20 years. Next year will actually be my 20th anniversary. I started in the industry a little bit different than most people. I started making my own pomade in my kitchen in 2003 before I actually even went to barber school, or even a little bit more different. Like I never even picked up clippers before I went to barber school. But I started going in and out of barbershops and salons selling my hair product, and I just fell in love with the industry. I'm actually I grew up a mechanic by trade, so it's a little career shift in my early 20s, and I moved down here to Sacramento. I actually go to Moeller Barber College when I was out on El Camino in Fulton.
You've been a beast in this game for a minute, a silent beast. I, as a barber myself, like I told you when we were off camera, I've been encouraged by you from the tangible state that you and I have. So thanks. I know that what I've seen you create, it's like certain trailblazing things that inspired me to say it can be done. Dream big. This entangled with barbering can be done. And like you took that and you created not only a product line, a couple of other different shops, and each one of them have their own identity.
Like, thank you. Yeah, I've sold. So I opened a barbershop in Oak Park that I sold, and I opened the barbershop that I ran for about 10 years as well, and sold that beginning of last year. But no, I appreciate that a lot. I'm actually, the big project I'm working on right now is a memoir.
Okay.
And kind of the point is, you can do it. Like people always talk to me and act like I had two things. Like I had some sort of plan, which I don't at all, ever. I'm like, oh, this is working. That's shiny. I want to go over there.
Yeah.
And then like I had some sort of like funding behind me, which I've never had either. So I just want to show, like, we were talking off camera. One of the through lines is mental health throughout my career, and how my brain's pretty broken, and I've managed to kind of fulfill every dream that's popped in my head one way or another. Even learning how to be a writer and writing a book.
Hey man,
right.
That's big.
Let's talk. Hey, Anthony, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the memoir, what it consists of, and when you started, and when you think that it'll be available for the public.
So I'm actually hoping after this today, I'm reading, doing the final edit through before I send it off to my editor.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure I'll be done with writing it. I might have to punch in and do some more editing work, but all the heavy lifting is done. All the story arc is there. All the chapters are there. But it's such a long process.
I'm about to say the process is long. How long have you been curating?
So after everything's done, right? So I started in January of, when was that? January 23. I had the idea in 22. I taught a class, and I was trying to teach. I was tired of saying the same thing. A lot of us haircutting educators could kind of started saying the same thing, and they're good things to say, right? They're accurate, good things to say. But I was just kind of tired of saying it. So I was teaching a business lecture for Squire, the appointment system, to understand your numbers. So I used my story in business of when I understood my numbers and how well I did, and when I didn't understand my numbers, how terrible I did. And there's some personal stories in there and stuff. And a buddy of mine, my distributor, actually, Brian, from Classic, he was like asking me about how the class went after the show. And I was like, I don't know. It's just kind of I don't know. It was fine. Like, people were happy. They thanked me, took pictures and whatever like that. But I was like, I don't know. It was a little bit different. I think I need to like refine it. And he's like, well, do you think this is the right format? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, have you ever thought about writing a book? I was like, well, I when I was 13, I decided I wanted to have a life I could write a book about. So yeah, kind of. And he was like, well, you should just write some stories and see what happens. So that's what I did, is I just sat down and started writing. You know, we all have stories that we like to tell, especially in the shop and stuff. We have these stories that we kind of, our little routine with them, right? So I like wrote a couple of those, and I was like, actually think I can do this. I wrote for some music magazines when I was younger.
Even that in itself, though, that's like another testament of you finding something in a whole different lane that you're not really familiar with, trying it out, but sticking to it and following through. Like you said, you started the process back in 22 or toyed with it, and now it's coming into fruition and where you can submit it to that. I don't know how long the rest of it's going to be, but I know it's something that I believe Tone shared and Elijah, that I would be interested in reading myself, not just because of our relationship and me, like you being tangible. It's me knowing your story on the surface end is something that I would want to dive deeper into. I'm all for soaking up the game, and mental health is an area where more awareness should be. Being that we are barbers, we're supposed to pour into people.
Yeah, I saw during the pandemic, I saw a friend of mine, a barber friend of mine in UK, really start. He started this program that we actually, there's a restaurant version of it here in Sacramento. It's called the Purple Hand. They train barbers how to, when they hear certain things in the barbershop, how to get, how to engage with the client effectively to get them to whatever kind of mental health that they need. And that dude in the UK, like the program that he was a part of, that he started, got so popular that he was meeting with the royal family about it. So clearly it's and we're hearing more and more about mental health, you know, just in general. And it's still something that as men, I don't think we take seriously enough. I think it's one of those things, you know, and I was sharing with you guys when I finally signed up for talk therapy, and it took me three times. I talked myself out of it twice before I actually did it. I was getting to the point where like I was having panic attacks. I was randomly starting to cry. Like I would just be like cutting hair, having a normal conversation, talking about, you know, the game or whatever. Right. And I would just start crying. Like it was, it was pretty terrible. But I still talk myself out of it. You know, I'm like, oh, I'm better than other people. You know, I'm mentally better off than other people. Other people have it harder than me. And just trying, like I go to the doctor when I'm sick, right? If I have a broken arm, I'm not gonna be like, it'll heal itself. So
that's a big thing, though, Anthony. I'm glad you sharing that too, because I don't know if you're aware, because I'm definitely interested in this book when it comes out. DeMar DeRozan played for the Sacramento Kings. He had been battling mental illness too, and I think it probably ramped up after his father had passed away, and that's when DeMar was playing in San Antonio. But it seems like what we're learning right now, at least what I'm learning, through you, is that stigma, with males that big boys don't cry. And yes, we do cry. But we kind of like stand behind that, that lioness thing. We like to stick our chest out. We're above the rest. We're just that man. In the community, when really behind the scenes, in the shadows, we have these issues that we're dealing with, and we're not doing the right things to address them. I think that's where what you have did, and you have went far enough to not only blend in your career with it, but share it with others so they can know what steps to take too. Because a lot of these people, man, in high places, that own companies and entrepreneurs and things like that, they are the ones that are affected. What I'm learning as being a journalist. So I understand that. I'm glad that you took you got the strength, to build up, to address your problems, and you're still going through it, to see a mental health therapist and try to get these things out. And in the same regards, you try to share it with the community. Big ups to you,
I
brother.
mean, thank you very much. I appreciate that. When we were talking off camera, Speed, I appreciated your snowboarding thing, because you're not going to let it beat you. That really resonated, because that's kind of what you see throughout this book. Is like, that's what I mean. Why I don't know what I'm doing. I never know what I'm doing. I pick a task and I'm gonna finish it, and it kind of I put off the task of trying to get mentally more healthy, and it just got to the point where I couldn't, and I wasn't. It boiled down to not letting the fear stop me. You know, it was a commitment. It's been work. I've thought about quitting a million times, and you know, there have been times where I'm like, wanted to quit because it was too hard, and you know, admitting things about yourself and about your childhood and your upbringing and the way you view yourself. You know, it's hard. There's also been points of clarity where I'm like, I'm good now, and something happens, and I'm like, well, fuck, man, okay, I guess we're peeling back these layers too.
Folks, we've been getting some great reactions, some great responses to the work we've been doing over the past couple of months. We definitely want to thank you. Keep tuning in, share it with your friends. We got more content coming up.